Peace. Hey, Pinacolada. Welcome everybody coming to the room. Welcome. I'll wait for some more people to come into the room. Hey, the ghetto hippie. Hey, Anna Rose. Hey, blessed girl. Peace. Welcome, welcome. Okay, so today I'm going to be talking about a topic that is going to be sensitive for some and enlightening for others. And as you see in the topic, it is let's talk about the vagina, or let's talk about the pussy, or let's talk about the coochie. Whatever you resonate with, let's talk about it. And I will be paying attention to the comments, because anytime we're talking about our sexuality or our body parts, obviously it brings some immaturity out in some others. And really this is a conversation between women, but because I'm on social media, or the vajayjay, I'm on social media, I know I'm going to get all different types of people. So if there are men in the room, just sit back and listen. Maybe you can learn something. But if you do have a genuine question because you want to learn about the female and how to also be a positive force within your feminine energy's life, you can ask questions. But really this conversation is for the divine feminine. So like I said, I want to talk about the vagina. And this is something that I feel like a topic I should be screaming on the rooftops, because I used to have challenges when it came to that in a part of my life, and now I no longer have those challenges anymore. So if y'all making comments or are asking questions, I'm not going to be looking, but I'm still going to be looking to make sure people aren't being negative or being immature. But if you do have questions and if it goes into what I'm talking about, I will answer them. And if you want to come on the split screen, we can talk about, let's make this a conversation more so than a lecture. But I like to give my testimony as far as how I healed myself, my vaginal challenges, how I healed myself, and how it awakened me to be the divine woman that you see in front of you. So when I was a very small child, about 3 years old, and that's as far as I can remember, about 3 or 4 years old, I always had some type of vaginal irritation. I don't know where it came from. I don't know where it stemmed from at that time. But I remember I would wake up in the middle of the night screaming and crying. And my grandmother, what she would do, she would take me in the bathroom and put some a warm bath water and put apple cider vinegar in the water, and she would have me soak in the water. And then after however long she wanted me to be in the water, she would take me out and she would put like Vaseline or put some type of ointment, on my vagina. And she did this for at least a few years until I got old enough to where I could do it myself, maybe like 6 or 7 or so. But it was something that I remember as a child that I always had issues. I was always very insecure about myself. I used to pee on myself a lot, and like I said, and I always was irritated down there, and I didn't know why. And I'm sure it had to do with the traumas that happened in my life as a very small child, but I still didn't connect the dots to why it was happening to me. And I'm sure my grandmother, she didn't know why it was happening to me, but she was just doing what she could do. And even as a very small child, I was left feeling very insecure about that part of my body. I actually hated that it happened to me, that I would always get irritated to the point that I was in tears. And so then when I hit puberty, it got worse, with the periods and then I think I became sexually active at age 15. So when I introduced that into my life, the vaginal irritation turned into yeast infections and bacteria infections, because I think as a little girl, I don't think that's what I had, but I did speak to my mother about it like years later, and she said when she was pregnant with me, she said she kept a yeast infection. So it could have been something that I received being born, and maybe that was something I was dealing with as a child. And then also no telling what I was eating as a very small child that probably didn't help, because when you have a small child, you give it a lot of sugar, cakes and cookies and candies and things. So I know at the time we were not eating conscious. I know my grandma still ain't eating conscious, so she did the best that she could do. So it wasn't like where it is today, where consciousness is today, where we're eating healthier and making healthier choices. So my situation just got worse. And so when I became sexually active, it really got worse to where I was getting yeast infections and bacteria infections. It was to the point where I just did not want to have sex, because if I did that, that I was going to get irritated. And it didn't matter if I was with the same person in a consistent relationship, wear a condom, don't wear a condom. I always dealt with irritable vaginal issues. It just always happened for me, and it really hit my self-esteem to where I just didn't want to be intimate with anyone, because I didn't want to deal with it. Because of some of you that had that problem, you know how it is. You gotta go to the clinic, you gotta get the medicines, you gotta get the creams, and when it's uncomfortable down there, the whole world is uncomfortable. You just don't want to deal with nothing and nobody. Like, leave me alone, my vagina hurts. That's kind of how it is, and that's how it was for me for a good 30 years. I was dealing with that. And so what happened maybe 3 years ago, I was in a relationship with someone, and I'd say about 4 or 5 years ago, time is just going past me now, I got into a relationship with someone, and the same thing happened with this person. And this time I would go to the clinic, and I got the medicine. They give you the antibiotics, the creams, the pills, whatever it is that you want, they give it to you. And this time when I took the medicine, it didn't work. The antibiotics stopped working on my body. And the situation got worse to where it started to smell. And y'all being very open and vulnerable here with everyone here, because I know a lot of women would never talk about themselves in that way. But I know this situation is bigger than me, and that's the reason why I'm being so open about it. And it got to the point where there was nothing I could do. I went to the natural path. I went to the gynecologist. I went to the natural doctor, and all of them were just trying to give me drugs, and these drugs were not working. And it got to the point where I was trying to change my diet, and that didn't even work. The diet didn't even work. Like trying to be vegan and trying to be paleo, taking sugar out my diet. I was trying to do everything, but my you said, are you talking about BV? Yeah, I'm talking about bacteria infection, yeast infection, whatever vaginal infections that we receive as women. That's what we're talking about. We're talking about the vagina raw vibe, okay? And again, I see there's more people coming into the room. If anybody is spitting any immaturity or negativity, I will block you, because I know this is a very sensitive topic. I know sexuality makes people feel weird. It brings out the weirdness in people. So if anybody comes in here with that type of energy, you will be blocked. Okay? Okay, thank you. I just want to let everybody know that's coming into the room. So it got to the point to where that wasn't working anymore, and it was something that I dealt with for a year, to where it was a smell. It was just like I was so embarrassed, and it put a strain on my relationship, and it put a strain on just who I was as a person. So because the doctors couldn't help me, because the situation just got worse, I started looking for the information on my own. And then that's what I did. I started going on YouTube, looking to see, like, what could I be eating? What should I be taking out of my diet? Why is this happening? And I ended up finding Nature Boy. That's where I found Nature Boy and Yaya's the video. And he was talking about the reason why women have these issues, why we have all these different things. So then I ended up reaching out to him. And I'm going to make this long story very short because I want to get to the point. And the point was that my vagina, your body is your mind. Your body is your mind. And my vagina is connected to my mind. Your womb is connected to your mind. So whatever thoughts you're having, whatever you're focused on, you're going to manifest that on your body. Okay? And so since I grew up with low self-esteem and abandonment issues and being disconnected from my mother and father and creating a story about my own self-worth, then that is what was happening to my vagina. My vagina, I put in negative thoughts within my own body that it started manifesting in my vagina to the point where when I got close to someone or was connected to someone, I always get an irritation and it always pushes me away from people. And so when I realized that it was all in my mind, the reason why I had these issues, I just changed my thoughts. And it was just that simple. I decided that I was going to be healed in that very moment. I healed myself in that very moment. In that conversation that I had with him, I healed myself. I used to give him the credit and be like, he healed me. But he said, no, you healed yourself. It was just like, I told you, and you decided to take on that on that possibility, and you healed yourself. And I want to take responsibility that I healed myself and by changing my thoughts. And that's all I did. I said, I am healed. I don't have no BV, no vaginal issues. There's nothing wrong with me. It is my mind that was wrong with me. I need to change my thoughts. And when I took that on, then that's when the next day the smell went away, the irritation went away. And 3 years later, y'all, I no longer have the vaginal issues. I never had no yeast infection, never had no bacteria infection. And no itch, nothing, no discharge, nothing. And I even had a baby. And I had a baby in the jungle, and I was not on no type of medical care before or after the baby, and did not receive any vaginal issue whatsoever. And when my mom was pregnant with me, remember I said that she said that she had a yeast infection the whole time, because sometimes that happens because, and I think someone mentioned it in the feed, that your pH levels can go up and down, and that's the reason why scientifically that's why you have the vaginal irritation. So any little thing, any foods you eat, like the pregnancy or the climate or whatever, it can change your pH. And for me and I just knew that when I got pregnant that it was going to alter the vaginal irritation to come back, and it never did. Even after the baby, like I said, I didn't have no type of medical care before or after, and I'm still good. I'm still good. No type of irritation whatsoever. And like I said, this is something that I dealt with for over 30 years, people. I wish you could have seen me when I was a little girl and now see me now. Like, I have some friends back in the States that they were going through the same thing. And so when I told her what happened to me, she was like, wow. She was like, let me see. Hold on. All right. Okay. I'm not playing. Like, you're not going to put no negativity. You ain't going to be putting, it's not about that. It's not, and that person just got blocked. So y'all, let that person be the example for anybody that wants to say something. Okay? I'm dead ass. I'm not playing with y'all. Because I really want to help someone. I know someone out here needs this message. And so from this point on, I started looking at how I kept my mind, kept my vibration on the right frequency of healing and of health. because I've been through so much in the past couple of years that it still hasn't came back. Like, you know, I had different partners and it still never came back. And it's like, and I changed my diet, it still hasn't come back. But the one thing that remains the same is that I keep my mind strong and focused. That is what I focus on, is my thoughts. Even if I feel like that my vagina is feeling like it wants to go somewhere that I don't want to take it, I just change the thought frequency and be positive and be clear and be intentional and think about healing and positive thoughts, because it's more than just positive thoughts. It's about the intentions and taking care of myself. And there are certain things that I do that keeps my body in alignment to what I know to be true. Okay, so the first thing that I would like to talk about, that I feel like as women, the reason why we deal with these vaginal issues is because obviously we are out of balance. And I say that when I was a little girl and a teenager, I was out of balance. I was on an imbalance. I was a cell that was imbalanced within my own reality. And so I had to get back in tune, back in harmony with who I was. So a lot of times the reason why women deal with the vaginal issues, and yes, it starts in the mind, but when you can control the mind, you can control the actions on what the body does. And so if you look at the clothing that a lot of us wear, a lot of women, we wear a lot of jeans, we wear a lot of pants, and we wear panties. And the one thing that your vagina needs to breathe. Because it's a part of your body, and just like your skin needs to be exposed. It's the largest organ on your body, and it needs to breathe. But we always closing it up, putting clothes on, and covering ourselves up when we need to allow that part of ourselves to flow, especially the vagina, because it's self-cleaning. It's a self-cleaning organ. But we are constantly covering it up. We're putting like silk and satin. And yeah, we put cotton on. Why do you think with some of the panties, they have the cotton crotch? Because they know that the vagina needs to breathe. But you're still covering it up. So you should not be wearing panties. But the reason why you have to wear panties is because of the clothes that you're wearing. You're wearing jeans. And jeans is not a natural fabric that any woman should be wearing, because if you tried to wear jeans and not have panties on, you're going to get irritated. Whether it's corduroy, jean fabric, or polyester, those are not things that we should be putting on our bodies, and especially our vagina. Okay, and so that's the reason why you see me wearing those wraps, because I want to make sure that my body can breathe. Okay, I'm not all the way in nature, so I can't just be walking out here without any clothes on, even though our skin is our natural clothing. But let's be real, we can't walk out here naked. If you try, you're going to see yourself getting arrested. But what you can do, you can wear clothes that will honor your body. And that's by wearing dresses, by wearing long flowing dresses or short dresses, but something that is breathable, and not like doing the wraps. And even if you choose to wear pants, get the very loose pants, nothing tight. Because if you wear something tight and abrasive, it's going to irritate the vagina. And then it's not going to feel very comfortable. And see, I don't wear jeans anymore because I don't wear underwear anymore. The only time you should be wearing underwear is when your cycle comes, because obviously you need to wear underwear because you don't want to stain your clothes and you need it to hold the pads or whatever it is that you wear. But I no longer wear jeans anymore. Like right now I have on some yoga pants because I went to have yoga. But see, I can wear these pants without panties, you see. So if you're going to wear pants, make sure it is pants that you don't have to wear panties. But also we have to look at, why are we wearing pants? Because long time ago, I don't know the actual dates, women did not wear pants because it wasn't considered feminine to wear pants. Women wore dresses. But then because of evolution and women fighting for their rights and feminism, women started wearing pants. And when you wear pants, it's a sign of masculinity. And what is the one thing that as women today that we are so proud of and we're pushing? We're pushing masculinity. We're pushing independence. We're pushing, we can be just like the man. And we're not like the man at all. That's what makes us amazing, that we're not like him. And we need to stop trying to feel like we have to be equal to him to feel secure within ourselves. There is power within our own femininity. But when we do things to go against it, we are altering ourselves, and then we're creating an imbalance within our own selves. And yes, it goes that deep when we wear pants, because that's what it represents, is a masculinity. And so that's why when women wear pants, you're irritating yourself, because when jeans first came out, it was for like the men that worked on the train station, like on the trains and the mining company, because it was very sturdy material. And so that's the reason why they created the jean, because it was material that could withstand all the grit and the dirt and the work. Now that is a necessity in a woman's attire to wear something like that. But you shouldn't be wearing any type of jeans. You should be wearing dresses and wraps or very loose pants. That's what you should be wearing. And then also we have to look at our astrological energy, because a lot of us have masculine energy within our own astrological energy. Like with me, I'm a Sagittarius with a lot of Libra. I got a lot of Libra, a lot of Sagittarius. So my energy is very masculine. So I have to be careful with how I move and think, because I naturally think very masculine. Now, yes, I'm a woman, but I still do things in a masculine way. And so especially when it comes to my sexuality, I really bring out that masculine energy. And that's another thing I want to segue into, is your astrological program. Do you have more fire and air, or do you have more water and earth? Oh, hey, Mars Universe. Because that also plays a part with our how we handle our bodies. Okay? And let's talk about sex. Let's go ahead and talk about it. Now, does anybody have any questions before I go into that, about the clothing and about the type of clothes that you wear? Any questions in regards to that before we take it to the next level, as far as like sex and how that's connected? Because I want this to be a conversation. This isn't like a lecture. This is a conversation, that we're having. You said your husband hates when you wear panties to bed. You most definitely should not be wearing panties to bed. You should at least be naked, especially if you have a husband. You should at least be naked, or at least wear a nightgown, because that's the time where your whole body, all of your cells are replenishing itself. It's producing new cells. It's getting rid of old cells. And that's when your body is like resting and working at the same time. And so your vagina is actually doing the same thing. It's cleansing itself. You ever notice when you wake up in the morning and you have a little bit more discharge, because that's your vagina cleansing itself through the day before. And so if you have panties on, you are not allowing it to breathe and do what it needs. It needs oxygen. Just like you need oxygen, your vagina needs oxygen as well. Okay, so let's see. Oh, you said you had tonsillitis when... Well, we're talking about the vagina, Mia Scorpio. Oh, you haven't worn panties in over 15 years? Yeah, I haven't worn panties since I've been pregnant and had a baby. Because I haven't had a cycle, because I'm breastfeeding. So yeah, it's been going on 2 years for me too. What if you don't have discharge? Everyone should have discharge. If you don't have discharge, it just depends. It doesn't have to be a lot of discharge, because sometimes you can have too much discharge and that's an imbalance. But everyone should have discharge. I don't know what your age is. Yeah. Oh, you said about being. Oh, when I said about being naked, like she was saying when she go to bed at night that she sleeps with panties on, and I said that's the time that you should not have panties on. There's no reason to have panties on unless you're on the cycle. Then of course you gotta have something on. Because you don't want the blood to get on the sheets or whatever, but that's the time you should really be open and not have anything on so your body can breathe, because your body is working and resting at the same time to replenish itself, and your vagina is doing that as well. Yeah, Empress Marie, you don't have a cycle when you breastfeed. Yeah. Sometimes some women have it and some women don't. Luckily, I was the woman that don't have her cycle when you breastfeed. But that's the reason why it's really important to be breastfeeding constantly. I think because the reason why I don't have it, because my son is always with me and he's always breastfeeding 24/7. But I think if I probably would just breastfeed and go to work and come, I probably would end up with a period. Some women do and some women don't. But I'm one that don't have a cycle. Yeah. Okay. Good. Sometimes vegan. She says she wears a lot of wraps and the baggy hippie boho pants. Okay, so now we're going to go into our sexuality, because I have notes. I want to make sure I get everything. So I said let it breathe, and then we want to talk about our sexuality as well. And we have to really be real about ourselves and who we are. And with me, I have a lot of masculine energy. Like, I'm a Sagittarius sun, Leo moon, Mercury, Sagittarius, Venus, Aquarius. There is nothing feminine about my energy except for the houses that my planets are in. So when I started having sex, I was 15 years old, and the way that I did it, I just gave my virginity away. I was just like, oh, everybody's having sex, okay, I'll have sex too. And it was just like that. It was nothing to me. It wasn't sacred. It wasn't special. It wasn't, and no one didn't teach me. No one didn't teach me about my sexuality. My grandparents, they didn't know, because no one didn't teach them. They didn't talk about that type of stuff. Okay? And I didn't understand my body. I didn't understand how important my virginity was. I didn't understand how my vagina worked. I just knew that everybody else was having sex, and I was curious, and my hormones started to rage, and so I was like, okay, I'll have sex, and I did. And then I was just having sex just to be having. I didn't know about no orgasm or anything like that, but by me doing that, I ended up creating more problems for myself because I didn't know myself. And so even as a woman, I think when I probably got to my 30s is when I started actually enjoying sex. I actually knew what I liked, with my body and stuff. But by that time, I already did the damage. I already was having sex with this person and that person, and it affected me in a way. And so when I started learning about myself through astrology, I understood why I made those choices. One, because of ignorance. I didn't know myself. But two, because of my energy. Because when you think of a man's nature, a man needs to have sex. A man wants to have sex. He has the penis that's protruding out. So he can just stick himself into that woman, but not truly get affected as much as the woman can get affected. Because with the woman's genitalia, when she's having an orgasm, she's sucking in. So we're sucking in that energy. So whatever we're becoming one with, whatever we're with, we're becoming one with, and we take on that energy. Not saying that a man can't do that, but 9 times out of 10, the woman, she takes on the man. He's not sucking in energy, he's pushing out energy, and we're taking it in. And so a lot of the men that we were with, their energy was not good or not compatible. But just because it was not good, not compatible, did not mean that we did not take it on. And so the more men that you sleep with, the more it's altering your genetic code, the more it's altering the sense of who you think you are, because that's the reason why it says that you should be careful with as many sexual partners that you have, because you are becoming that person. And so, but if you keep having sex with all these different type of people, you're going to become confused. And then your vagina is going to get all out of whack. You see, and this message is for a lot of the young girls. A lot of us now, we already been there and done that. But I know there's a lot of young girls that are watching me now. And don't give up that part of yourself just because everyone else is doing it or because you're curious. Because once you give it away, you can't take it back. Okay? Now, when you find the right person, a special person, or when you're in the right state of mind, then having sex and giving your body to someone can be a beautiful, sacred thing. But before you do that, learn to live sacredly. Because if you learn to live sacredly and understand what that means, and understand yourself and learning yourself, then you will make mindful choices before you open your legs and give up your world. It's your world, girl. Don't be just letting anybody come in there and rule it, okay? Because when a man comes inside of you, he rules. That's the reason why men, they love to have sex with many women as they can, because it does something to their testosterone. It does something to their masculinity that they conquer. But don't let nobody just conquer you. And that's what I had to learn on my own, that I was allowing anybody to just conquer me. But in the meantime, I was just let anybody just do whatever they want to do to my vagina. And my vagina was like, help, why are you letting this happen to me? Why? And I wasn't connecting the dots, because your body speaks to you if you listen. And see, as divine feminine energy, our vaginas, our wombs, they're connected to our mind, so it is constantly speaking to you. If you sit and meditate, you will be able to hear what it has to say. It's just that deep. We call it intuition, but your intuition, where it's at? It's in your gut. Where's your gut? It's next to your navel. Where's your navel? It's next to your vagina. So it's like a port. It's like a port that comes all the way up, and if you listen, it will talk to you. And also what is there is your sacral and root chakras. And it's important for you to know about your chakras, because your chakras, what it represents is your glands in your bodies. And what are your glands? Your glands are the things that tell your organs what to do. And what does your organs do? Your organs make your body move in certain ways. So if your chakras are off, then your body is off. And what is your body? Your body is your mind, and your mind is off, and you're not clear, and you're not focused with who you are. So let's talk about the chakras, the sacral chakra and the root chakra. Those are two different chakras, but let's talk about the point of the topic. They are connected to your sexuality. They are connected to your emotions. That is what the sacral and the root chakra is. And I have some notes. The sacral chakra is connected to your emotions. It's connected to your well-being. It's connected to your pleasures. And it's connected to your enjoyment of life and sexuality. So when those are not in balance, you become imbalanced. Okay? And so when you are imbalanced, this is how you know you are imbalanced within the chakras, with those glands in your body. Is when you feel dependent, like overly dependent. Okay? It's when you are being ruled by your emotions. It's where you're feeling numb of your emotions. It's where you're overindulging in sex. And it's when you have the lack of sexual desire. So you can see how it's like you might be too much of something or not enough of something. So that's why you have to get in balance with yourself. Okay, and it starts with being aware of your vagina, talking to your vagina, taking care of your vagina, but then also taking care of your mind, taking care of your thoughts, being careful what you allow to give your energy to. Because whatever you're giving your energy to, you're taking that in consciously and subconsciously. But then if you're taking it in, what else is taking it in? It's your vagina that's taking it in. So you have to be very careful with what you are focused on. Okay, because our bodies are very sensitive to energy, because we are energy. So whatever you're doing to your vagina, whoever you allowing to come inside of you, you are taking on that energy, and that energy may not be conducive for you, but it doesn't matter. Energy does not discriminate. You're either going to become it or you're not going to become it. But unfortunately for the woman, like, we take on the weight of the world. We're constantly just taking things in that we shouldn't be taking them in. But it starts at a very young age when you decide who you are and who you're going to be, and not allowing boys or men to come to you talking this false bullshit, and then you opening yourself up because you just want love and acceptance. But love and acceptance starts with you first, not by you giving yourself away. Your vagina, like I said, your vagina is your world, and do not allow anyone to come and rule your world. You are the queen in your world. You are the goddess in your world, and you will tell anybody that's trying to come up in your world how they're going to treat you. But the first thing first, you got to show the world how you should be treated. Because if you don't know, trust me, the world gonna help you figure it out real quick. Okay. So let me see if I covered all of, okay, and then also for cleaning it, because cleanliness is next to godliness. So you want to make sure you have a clean vagina, and it's very simple. Don't do nothing to it. You don't need no Summer's Eve. You don't need no Castile soap. You don't need no Dove. You don't need no natural soaps. Let your vagina clean itself. Now, when you're in the shower or in the bath, you can let the water rinse over it. And if you do need to use some type of soap, use something gentle. But don't clean the vagina itself. Maybe like the hair, because you know sometimes hair collects sweat or lint or whatever like that. Maybe you want to, but if you do, like, wash on the outside, but do not open it and put no soap in there, because you're going to offset the flora in your vagina. Trust me, nature created our vaginas to do exactly what it needs to do. Self-care and self-love itself. It already knows what to do. Just leave it alone. It knows what to do. Okay, now if you want to open it and clean it with like a rag, well, wet rag, you wipe it and clean it inside. But do not use any type of soap or astringent or anything and put down there, because that's also going to take the balance out of it as well. Now, a lot of us think that the vagina is not supposed to have no smell, and that if it's supposed to smell, it's going to smell like roses and candy. And that is not what vagina smell like. Vagina is supposed to smell like you. Whatever your aura is. Every woman has her own aura. Okay? It's like a pheromone. So when you meet the right man, when you meet the right God, when he smells you, it's going to be an intoxication to him. Because that scent is the scent that he was looking for. It's to not be smelling like no candy and cookies, cakes, and pies. That's not what a vagina smells like. It's going to smell like a human. It's going to smell natural. Now, it ain't supposed to smell like fish or, or chicken noodle soup or whatever. It ain't going to smell. It shouldn't have that type of like pungent smell either. But it should have a scent to where you know that that's your vagina. That's what it should smell like. And if your man is down there, he should be able to recognize your scent too. And if he is down there, he should make sure he's paying attention, because sometimes it can be off, sometimes too. But you want your vagina to smell natural. We're human beings, okay? We're not a candy shop. We're human beings. We're not a flower bed. We're human beings. So it's going to have a scent to it, not an odor, but a scent, a natural scent, your aura. We're so afraid to smell like a human. That's the reason why so many of us put deodorant on, put lotions and perfumes, because we don't want to truly smell like who we are. But if you eat the proper foods for your biology, for your body, when you clean your body out, when you take care of yourself, you will have a natural scent. Oh, I don't shave. Like, I haven't shaved in 3 years. Like, I haven't shaved in 3 years. Like, I still got underarm hair, pubic hair, leg hair. Like, I don't believe in shaving. And it's so freeing that I don't have to do that. Like, I remember I used to go get wax. I used to get Brazilian wax. Yes, girl, I used to get Brazilian wax every 3 weeks. And now I'm so glad I don't do that. Oh, you said you need... Well, the deodorant that I use lime or lemon. That's what I use, and it works. But the thing is, when you're washing your underarms, don't use soap, because the more you use soap, you're cleaning off the good and bad bacteria, and so then that's where that scent comes from. That scent is just bacteria under your arm. So don't use soap. This will work for you. Try it for a week. Don't use soap under your arms when you're washing yourself. And then use lemon. Scrub your underarms with lemon. And do that every day for a week. I promise you will not have body odor. It works. Because I used to have really bad body odor, like very strong body odor, and I used to sweat a lot. But now that I don't wear deodorant and I use the lemon, now I don't have to worry about that. I used to have very strong, a strong scent. So yeah, try that. Yes. Okay. So Oh yeah, 3rd of January. You can DM any of y'all that have questions, because I know this is a very sensitive topic and you don't want nobody to know your coochie business. So if you have any questions about what we're talking about, or any concerns or anything you want to share with me, you can go to my DM and talk to me, or whatever you might need. But I'm just putting myself out there to let you guys know I'm here, and this is something I dealt with, and this is something that I've conquered, and I want to invite you to do the same. But in the end, what worked for me was my mind. It was my mind that had to change. But still yet, even though I have all these things that I talked to you about. Okay, so let's talk about what we talked about. Welcome everybody in the room. We're talking about the vagina today. Again, I want to put that disclaimer out there. Thank you for being mature. Thank you for none of the negative comments, or just thank you for being an adult, okay? Because we should be able to talk about these things. We should be able to talk about sex and vaginas and things to that nature. It's what brought us here in the first place, you know? So we should talk about it. Okay, so we talked about, you know, letting your body breathe, letting your vagina breathe, wearing certain clothing, like getting wraps, you know, them wraps that I wear, getting some of those. You can do so much with that. And I might do a video to show you how I wear those wraps. I love those wraps, like forever. I can just do whatever I want. And then you can wear loose pants. Like, don't wear jeans. If you get rid of all your panties, you know how many pairs of panties you should have? Maybe like 3 to 5 pairs of panties, and that is it. And only wear them on the cycle. That's it. Don't wear them. If you have an outfit and you feel like you need to wear panties, that is the wrong outfit. Throw it away. I'm telling you, you don't need to wear panties. I don't care if it got a cotton crotch or whatever. You don't need to be wearing panties. Oh, you said you want me to start selling my wrap. I only got like 3 wrap dresses, but here on the island, this lady, she sells wraps, and I love the wraps. I think she's selling for like $10 or so. Okay, so and plus it's so freeing when you're wearing a dress and you don't have panties on. You can feel the breeze. That does something to your body. That's a vibration. Okay. You want everything to raise your vibration. So when you're outside in nature and you feel the sun, you feel the breeze, and you're walking on the ground barefooted, it raises your vibration because you are connected to the all. Nature is everything. Remember that. So you want to do everything you possibly can with where you are to be connected. Okay, you still might be in Babylon, but it does not mean that you gotta still succumb to Babylon ways. You can still be connected. Okay, yeah, I'm in the tropics. I fought blood, sweat, and tears to get here. Okay, this is where I want to be, but I want to teach you that you can be wherever you want to be, right where you are. There's no excuse why you can't connect yourself to the earth, to nature, because I always say nature is God. The 4 elements, connecting them 4 elements, and you will be good. And as long as you continue to raise your vibration, before you know it, your whole reality will change. And that's exactly what happened with me. I decided to change my mind here, and before you know it, my mind changed right in front of me into my environment that you see today. Okay, so remember that you're energy sensitive. Hey, welcome everybody. You're energy sensitive, so make sure you are always considering your vagina and listening to your vagina, sitting with your vagina to be able to listen to the answers. Because remember, your womb is connected to your mind. Always remember that. So if your mind is off, your vagina is off. If your vagina is off, your mind is off. Because your body, you cannot have a body without a mind and a mind without a body. They both need each other. So you got to make sure they're both connected and in tune with one another. Okay? I talked about the clothes. I talked about the womb, and talked about sexual partners. And your astrological energy. Check and see if you have more masculine energy or if you have more feminine energy, because that also will alter how you said vagina monologues. Oh yes, you wasn't in here, Kimmy K. She said, what about when you're on your period? Yes, when you're on your period, make sure you wear panties, and also make sure you wear pads. Do not be putting no cotton up in your vagina, because what does cotton do? Cotton absorbs moisture. What are we 70% made of? We are made of water. 70% of us, 70% of our body is made up of water. So you're constantly putting on clothes, putting on cotton, sticking cotton up your vagina. You are sucking your moisture away. You are sucking your life away. Remember, I don't know if any of y'all was in my class, my astrology class. We make up the 4 elements in our biology, in our astrology, and in our environment. It's the 4 elements. This is the earth plane, the 4 elements. Could understand the 4 elements. They know that they rule you and they control you. But if you can master them, you can master your reality. So just pay attention. That's how the lower self, or whatever you want to call it, can get you. If you do not understand the biology, the astrology, and your environment, that's how it can come in and fool you. You have to understand that about yourself. The 4 elements. So when you things that are supposed to be breathable, no, it ain't. No, it's not. It wasn't meant to be, because we was in nature. We wouldn't be having no clothes on. But so that's why we're doing everything backwards, and that's why we're paying for it. But that's another download. So don't be wearing tampons. Wear cotton pads. And now the world has become more conscious, so you can get natural pads. You don't have to get the chemical pads. You can get the ones that will help you and not irritate you. That will absorb more of the blood. But if you have a lot of blood, you better look at your diet, because your diet also controls how much blood you are. You are, what's the word we use? Letting out. I don't know. So you don't. If you have a heavy period, it's because it's your diet that you're having. And so you need to really look at your diet and see why you're having long periods and why you're having heavy periods, because you don't want that. You shouldn't be bleeding as much. That's why a lot of women now are iron deficient, because of the periods and because of the food and because they're not connected to the sun. They're not in an environment. Okay, you're not in an environment, but then there's other things that you can do. Okay, so you can't come to the tropics and be close to the sun, but you can change your diet and you can change some of your habits that you're doing. Okay, there's always a way. When there's a will, there's a way. Okay, so back to your sexuality and your astrology. So look at your chart, see how much feminine to masculine energy that you have, because that also controls you from not tapping into your divine feminine. You need to tap into your divine feminine energy, who you are. But sometimes your astrology can hinder that, because you could be too damn masculine, aka me. So I have to do my work every day. I have to succumb to my divine feminine, because I have so much masculine energy. But then I forgive myself for the choices that I made when I was younger, when I was promiscuous, because that was just my energy. That's how my energy flowed. But I forgive myself and I move forward, So yeah. And so then also we talk about the sacral chakra and the root chakra. Now, if you want to awaken those chakras, there's different yoga poses. There's different things you can do to awaken. If you're out of balance in those chakras, you can do different yoga poses. And the thing is that you want to make sure that you are in balance, because if you're not, remember, the chakras represents your glands. And what does your glands do? Your glands tell your organs what to do. And what does your organs do? It makes your body move. And what is connected to your body? Your mind. So it's very deep. You want to make sure all your chakras are in tune and in harmony, because if they're not, then that means your glands are not in tune and in harmony. Okay? And they are the wiring to your body, to your organs, to make sure it functions properly. Because that's all we want. At the end of the day, you want to have well-being, you want to be happy, and you want to know you did the right thing. But it starts with yourself. You can't change the world overnight, but you can change yourself in a moment. Okay? It's just that simple. And so look at yourself, make sure you're taking care of yourself. And yes, your vagina is a part of that as a woman. Okay, so yes, so your sacral chakra and your root chakra, look more into that. And like, what did I say? When you are in harmony with those chakras, it taps you into your emotions, it taps you into your well-being, it taps you into your pleasure, enjoyment of life, and sexuality. And if you don't have enjoyment of life, I guarantee you your sacral and your root chakra is off. Okay, and then if it's out of balance, then that means you're too dependent on something. You're being ruled by your emotions. And Lord knows, as women, we get ruled by our emotions because of that estrogen. And then you're feeling numb, or you're overindulgent in sexual fantasies and sex, and you just masturbating all the damn time for no reason. Or you have a lack of a sex drive. You don't even want nobody to touch you. Okay? So you have to, like, look at that. Okay. So that was it. That's what I wanted to talk about. So now if we want to open up dialogue, let's do that. Hey, Rambo! 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 Can you bring me the battery pack? My phone about to die. Okay. So does anybody have questions or comments? Oh, S. Clark said, how do you figure out if you're more masculine or feminine? First, you get your birth chart. And then once you get your birth chart, you can get your birth chart free online. Thank you, sir. You get your birth chart free online, and you would compare the different signs. Hey! You know they probably want to see the baby. Well, no, you can bring him over. You know, if I grab him, you know, he should see the baby. He just cheese it. Hopefully I'm doing this right. Okay. Say hey, everybody. Say hey. Like, look, there's the camera. What you looking at?